quarter 20 today. Hello everyone, it's Pete and Grada here from the Purple House at Forth in Tasmania.
How are you? We're enjoying our daylight savings, and today we actually want to share some stories with you, because stories are good, especially when they're success stories and to do with things that you might be concerned about right now. So Peter, I'll hand over to Peter. Okay.
Stop it. I had a client who came to me. For some reason he came, and incidentally just said, I've had this cough that the doctors can't do anything about it. It's a fungal thing, and they've tried this and that, and they can't help me anymore. And he was finding it hard to breathe at night, coughing up lots of gunky sputum, and I suggested he take a couple of things, initially buy a nebulizer so he could breathe it deeply down into his lungs it was
with salt as well. Himalayan salt.
Mixture of salt, salt water, but there was a couple of other things. One is a vital trace mineral that we need for life, to be alive. Our thyroid needs it. And the other one breaks down to oxygen and water and increases the oxygen intake into the lungs. And those two things, oxygen oxidizes simple celled organisms like bacteria, viruses and fungi. And the other vital trace mineral, that is the strongest antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal agent that can be found, and nothing becomes resistant to it. And it's been around since the earth was formed. So, and
if you want to know more about it, you have to contact us personally.
Yeah, you have to either give us a ring on...
Yeah, I'll put Peter's phone number in there.
Or email us. Sometimes if you message on Facebook Live or on the website, we don't see them. So email us and...
Or Peter's phone will be good.
Give us a ring or message me on my phone.
So we have,
but it reminded me, when this person came, it reminded me of one of my brothers years ago. Ended up in hospital, finding it hard to breathe and coughing. It had a cough for a long time, and they took Xrays and told him his lungs were full of cancer, to call his family. He didn't have many days to live. So it was a real shock to him. He was lying in hospital, finding it hard to breathe, going to die in a few days, and all his family come around, and it was a pretty emotional time for him. They must have taken biopsies or a sputum sample and sent to the lab, and it must have taken a few days for the results to come back, and the doctors come in and said, we've got some good news and some not so good news. And the good news was he didn't have cancer. And he had a rip-roaring fungal infection in his lungs. And they asked, had he worked with pine bark at all? And he had been...
potting mix.
And potting mix, pine bark. He had been landscaping on a job he was doing, and he was dealing a lot with pine bark, and he had developed a fungal infection that people are prone to get if they work with potting mix and pine bark.
So, and it's actually quite rare, so initially they thought he had cancer. So he had to go on really strong antibiotics, and he actually...
And antifungal medication.
Had to take, I think, antibiotics for nearly 2 years, like really strong ones. And thankfully though, Peter's brother, he has like a really good mindset, and he used to meditate and everything, and Peter,
Yeah.
he got through that as stronger than ever. So that was really, really good.
But it did take him a long time to recover from it.
Yeah, he was feeling weak. So this client, or actually the person who came in with a cough and who told Peter as like an afterthought that he had this cough and that it wasn't...
He'd had it for months.
Yeah, and it wasn't getting any better. It wasn't COVID, by the way. But it was really draining his energy, keeping him kind of bumping along the bottom. And then Peter suggested these two things. And if you want to know what they are, like I said, you have to contact us personally.
I suggested he get a nebulizer so he'd breathe it in a mist into his lungs.
And so what happened?
But he didn't get the nebulizer. He just started using the drops that are vital for the thyroid. And he came back a few days ago for some more of those drops because he said his cough had gone, disappeared. And he'd run out of the drops and it had started a little bit again. So he was just taking the drops in water, drinking them, not breathing them in, but getting them into his system systemically. So it would have been getting into his bloodstream and going to the lungs anyway. Mm-hmm. And it getting rid of the fungal infection, which
so the person was
amazing.
Very happy. So if you're interested in what this is, please contact us personally. And then we also want to continue to tell you a little bit more about it. So we're all speaking in code. I hope you remember that why we're doing this, because we still want to get this information out there. So we're using code names, all right? So we're calling it a mineral supplement, vital supplement. So talking about fertilizer, I just want to hook into that a little bit. Fertilizer goes on to our food crops, as you know, ends up in our vegetables and everything, meat and butter and everything that's grown. And it affects our body in the way that we get full of heavy metals. So cadmium is in fertilizer, arsenic is in fertilizer, lead is also in fertilizer, mercury drops down from the sky, so mercury is in rainwater. And then aluminium. So these all have a huge effect on our body. They really do have an effect. It's not a side effect. So I want to just make it a little bit funny. When you have cadmium, so cadmium comes in fertilizer, which ends up in your foods, how that affects guys. Cadmium makes them enjoy dirty jokes. It makes them dirty, so they're always like talking dirty jokes.
Innuendo.
Or worse. But actually the funny thing is they can't get it up because cadmium keeps it soft. If you understand what I'm saying, the guys can't get an erection, but yet they're kind of getting an erection in their brain from the cadmium, but they can't make it hard down under. So this certain mineral supplement gets rid of the toxins in your body from heavy metals as well, which is really, really awesome. So on top of the fungal infection, which is caused by candida, most people do have candida in your body. Normally you have it in your gut.
Yeah, we normally have it in our gut to produce some of the B vitamins.
Yeah.
So.
Most people though have way too much candida in their body.
Usually kept in check with the good intestinal bacteria.
Yeah, well, most people, every single client who comes to me, and Peter does the same. We check them for candida, so I'll just show you. I have like little vials to test, and then I get a reaction from the body. The body will say yes or no. That happens very quickly. And candida actually produces about 110 toxins in your body. So some of the toxins can make you feel drowsy or brain fog or bellyache, bloating, unreasonable hormones, just all the yucky.
Major cause of chronic sinus problems as well.
And then, so like if you're very unfortunate, it'll go into your lungs. That's rare, but I mean, it can happen. So, but the treatment, the solution rather, is always the same, and it's this particular mineral supplement that works for everything. So it gets rid of cadmium out of the boy's brain, and then it goes into the prostate and the reproductive organs for men and women, and makes that healthy again. So I just thought that's funny. So with petrol, by the way, before we used to have lead in our petrol, and we know that lead is poisonous. They phased that out, but they replaced it with manganese. Yeah, and manganese makes you angry. So, like for instance, if you think of children, when they walk around, their noses are on maybe exhaust height, like toddlers and stuff, and little kids, and so the manganese can even, in my opinion, this is just my personal belief, maybe it doesn't make them angry, but it could give them ADHD, right? So, but in adults, it can cause a road rage if you inhale the fumes.
Sitting in traffic jams, long lines of traffic, and you're breathing in the fumes all the time.
So again, the same solution, same thing, gets rid of those toxins. It's just the most awesome thing. And what else was it talking about? Lead, cadmium, mercury, arsenic, it all needs the same. Anyway, you get the drift. I can't really talk too much.
Boron, we all need a trace of boron as well. For the parathyroids, they're in charge of getting calcium into the bone, so it keeps your bones nice and healthy. And it is also antifungal, so it helps mop up any spores of fungus that are floating around the system.
So boron is also one of the most powerful antifungal minerals. It's simply mineral, so it can't be patented, so it can't be corrupted. Like you can buy it freely if you look for it.
We've also got a Empirical Labs product called YeastX, which is full of things to help the body rid itself of excess, candida out of place, because it should be in our gut in small amounts. It shouldn't be systemic. It shouldn't have gone through the gut wall. And the way to heal the gut is to fill it with good probiotics. And the research that I've done shows that spore-based probiotics, which we now stock since I've done quite a bit of research, they heal the gut 50% better than any other probiotic, and they withstand,
which is awesome,
antibiotics, and they withstand the stomach acid. So they do a really good job. So we've started stocking those since
about 6 months ago. When I first took some, I immediately noticed how much better I slept, which I hadn't expected at all, by the way. So more restful, deeper restful sleep, deeper state of relaxation. So I understood how that works, because your gut bacteria or your microbiome release the most happy hormones like serotonin, dopamine, and all the rest. And it's the main production center of that is really your tummy, not your brain, right? So I was happily surprised how much better I slept, and lots of people have let us know that within 2 or 3 days they felt a huge change in their body. So like when you get rid of the candida, that leaves a lot of empty space in your body that used to be filled with candida. By the way, candida can go right through your whole body. It can go through your nervous system, through your spinal cord, that's through the spine, up into your brain, into the brain fluid, everywhere, where it just starts brewing its own alcohol in a sense. Or
it can.
Yeah. And so you become a kind of a walking laboratory for toxins, and that's why people don't have a good quality of life, and they just don't feel better. So a really good thing would be to...
Yeasts are also fed by sugars.
Yes.
They feed on sugars, same as cancer cells do.
So if you get a sugar craving, I always suggest that you have some salt on your tongue instead, like the pink Himalayan salt. That takes care of your sugar craving. You won't feel like it anymore.
And then start getting your energy from fats rather than sugars and high starch carbohydrates, because that's a major key to getting your system back in good shape.
Yeah, and so coconut oil is one of the best oils. It's also an antifungal, gives you lots of energy, and it supports your body. If you like coconut oil, you're very, very lucky. You pretty much can't have too much coconut oil. So we just wanted to share this with you. And if you want more details, you'll have to please contact us personally. Especially feel free to call in Wednesdays and Thursdays, because Peter is here to answer all your questions in person, and that's probably the easiest for us, and maybe for you as well. And then you can have a look.
Or give me a ring on those days.
Knowledge is power, and ignorance isn't bliss, because when you're ignorant, you don't know what's going on in your body, and you can go down the slippery slope and not stop the slide if you don't know what's happening. And so Candida is not something that's medically recognized either, because it's so common, because everyone has it, but it's actually one of the worst things for humanity. So also the contraceptive pill creates Candida as well. So if you're taking the pill and you don't really need, well, there are lots of other, but this is a different subject. One time I'm going to talk about other things you can take that are more intelligent for your body than the contraceptive pill. The contraceptive pill, there are now studies coming out that it causes cancer, and I know why it would cause cancer, because it promotes Candida. And Candida, if you let it go out of hand, eventually turns itself into cancer as well. So it's easy to fix, so don't need to worry about it. It's just something to stay on top. And a lot of us have Candida and we get over it, and then you might have it again and you just get over it. So it's not something that you're stuck with forever.
What I would have recommended for my brother, if he'd have had that lung infection at this point in time, was a good all-round supplement to really give his system a boost, which we get in from the States from a chap who sources really good, easily absorbable nutrients, and it's got about 30 different essential nutrients in, called Activator. It really gives the system a really good kickstart.
Supplies all your nutrients, I guess, your complete nutritional support. Whether you're healthy, when you're sick, or when you're challenged, you often need to take 5 or 6 times the amount that healthy people need. So people sometimes forget that too. If you're recovering from something, you have to absolutely give your body
triple the dose of nutrients.
Drink more water, rest more, rest a lot more. Most people don't rest enough, and triple the dosage of what it says on the bottle, to get yourself better very quickly. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed listening to riddles, and stay sane, everybody. People in Victoria and in Tasmania, enjoy the sunshine. Sun is really good for your lungs as well.
Certainly is.
Get some oxygen into your lungs. If you have any questions, come and see us. We're here to help you. And
so Wednesdays and Thursdays is the best day to ring or come and see us.
Peter can take time to answer your questions, and we really love to help you as well. So thanks for tuning in, everyone, and share this video if you found it helpful.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you then. Bye.